Hey guys, Zane from the Infinite Jukebox here with another quick album review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Sparks record, The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte. Among the sea of odd yet innovative bands with cult followings that have consistently grown over the years due to critical appraisal and general industry belovedness, Sparks are somewhere between They Might Be Giants and Ween on the What in the Name of God Am I Listening to Right Now scale for the uninitiated, but the truth is that they are the founding fathers of that style. There is no They Might Be Giants without Sparks. There is no Ween, there is no Devo, there's arguably no Butthole Surfers or Weird Al or even Sonic Youth without Sparks. They are a band that has touched the hearts of so many oddball, left field, weird, whatever you want to call it, kinds of musicians. And over the course of the past 40 years, any band that has developed a cult following of some kind, whether that be, again, the Butthole Surfers, Primus, Devo, whatever, take your pick, they probably owe some degree of their success to Sparks and their incredibly unique brand of music that, despite having multiple different forms of media out there to convey their impact, still feel underappreciated. I mean, seriously, Edgar Wright directed a documentary about these guys that had Beck, Björk, Fred Armisen, so many random people that were incredibly hugely influenced by Sparks, and still people just do not care enough to make them mainstream in the slightest. I guess they're just kind of cursed to be the definitive alternative band for the rest of their lives, unfortunately. Nonetheless, The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte is definitive proof that Ron and Russell Mael, the brothers behind the Sparks name and the Sparks duo, are still going strong decades after classic album like Kimono My House and Angst in My Pants first hit the scene. The truth is that Sparks have never really aged. I mean, there's so many artists that have debuted in prior decades that by the following decade alone, they feel obsolete in terms of what they represent artistically. But Sparks have always followed with the times, and as such, their glam-infused brand of pop music has explored virtually every single niche that they possibly could within the realm of pop music, electronic music, and a variety of other genres because it's the Mael brothers and they can do whatever they want without repercussion. The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte is another album that demonstrates their very subtle degree of versatility that would be virtually unimaginable for any particular band, artist, or project that hadn't just already been doing this since the early 70s. The Mael brothers have been killing it for years, and this is everything that a Sparks fan could want in a Sparks album from 2023. So, really, it comes as no surprise that this is great, but it just does come as a general bit of pleasant expectedness, if you will. There are moments on The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte that feel somewhat abrasive, both musically and lyrically, such as the title track and We Go Dancing, respectively, while the Mael brothers' knack for creating intoxicating melodies on songs like Take Me for a Ride is powerful to say the least. It has been for decades, and it's still just as striking now as it has been since, say, 1970-something. And through it all, the brothers have never really lost their sense of outsider humor that has really defined their style for much of their fan base either. I mean, you have tracks here like When You Leave, where they just randomly name drop classic R&B slash soul bands like the Spinners and the Delphonics for seemingly no reason, or the track Escalator, where they use the titular device to represent heartbreak. It's the kind of thing that's rooted in just as much comedy and abstract style as it is surrealism to really create something kind of oddly magical that only Sparks could pull off. It definitely is something hard to properly describe, but once you really understand the Mael brothers as an artistic duo, you kind of begin to realize that you can't really describe Sparks in an accurate manner. Plus, there's also the legitimately moving album closer, Gee, That Was Fun, which manages to break the long-standing criticism that Sparks are incapable of making an album-closing track that does justice to the rest of an otherwise great album's material. It's something that's haunted them for a long time, that they've periodically broken with an album here or there, and this is an example of one of those albums. It's a minor detail to be sure, and something that you'll only really notice if you've listened to all or the majority of Sparks' discography, but nonetheless, for people who are really overly into them, such as myself, you will notice it probably, and it's just a nice little detail to see them really go out with a bang for once on an already great album. Look, whether you're like me and find them astonishingly innovative at every turn, or you're like haters of the Sparks who find them obnoxiously try hard in their weird nature, there's no denying that for the past several decades at this point, the Mael brothers have been an institution in alternative music, the definitive alternative band, if you will. To see Ron and Russell Mael still killing it in 2023, perhaps more so than the vast majority of the artists that they influenced, is just a beautiful thing to see, as again, their brand of art pop has never really aged, and I hope that we get many, many more Sparks albums in the future, especially if they sound like this, but knowing them, it'll be like a jazz fusion metal album next or something, who knows. I'm going to give this record 4 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this quick album review. I've been Zane from the Infinite Jukebox. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.